I purchased my first bike in the States earlier this year in February 2023, and the bike is Harley Davidson Sportster S 2023. Since I bought this bike, I have been riding this bike a lot, and within 6 to 7 months, I have more than 1000 miles on this bike. So this video is going to be my 1000 mile review of my Harley Davidson Sportster S 2023, in which I will tell you all the good things that I like about the bike, and along with that also the bad things that I don't like about the bike. And along with that, we will also test ride this bike. Yes, test ride it again. That is because the bike just came back from its first 1000 mile service, which means we can finally ride this bike to its full potential, which this bike is built for. Now those who know, they know, but those who don't, let me tell you that when you buy a bike, brand new bike, the bike companies limit the engine of those bikes because they are brand new, and the oils that those companies actually put have more minerals and a little bit hard and rough on the engine. That is the reason no bike company suggests for you to literally rev your bike or ride your brand new bike at its full potential. And that is why they limit their bikes. But after the first service, the bikes are actually tuned to reach their utmost or the real potential which those machines are actually built for. And the technicians actually advise you to ride them fast once in a while so that those engines don't get rusty and you can use them for what they're actually built for. And that is exactly what my technician told me, as his exact words were, "Fly her to the moon," which we won't do, but still we can test the bike. And today is one of those days when we will test that engine, that bike, because I haven't tested it yet as it just came in. So without further delay, let us go and put on the helmet and start this amazing and beautiful 1000 mile ride.
It is busy today. The reason is that this is a very wrong time to come out for a ride. As you can see, it's 4:20 p.m. and is the time of rush hour. So all the streets are jam-packed. I'm trying to go away from the town so I can find some lonely roads where we can drive or ride as fast as we can. Other than that, the two things that I have noticed right off the bat when I started the bike and started the ride is, number one, the sound of the bike. After its first 1000 mile service, I think somehow the sound of the bike has been increased by 20 to 30%. I could clearly feel that the exhausts are a little bit louder now. And second thing that I realized is the power of the bike. Like, for some reason, I don't know how much, but the power is also increased. The moment I push the throttle now, it acts different now from what I was used to the throttle power. I don't know how and why, but I think they were right that the power of the bike will also increase after the first 1000 mile service. Now we do need to put that theory in test by riding it in sports mode later on during this video. But first of all, let's talk about my review, my experience and my journey of riding this bike for almost like 6 to 7 months and for riding this bike for almost 1000 miles. So today we will talk about the good, the bad and the power of this bike. So let's start from the bad, because I think there is less bad about this bike than good. So let's talk about the bad things, or the things that I personally do not like about this bike. Number one thing that I don't like about this bike, or what my preference is, about the noise of the bike. The bike is not as loud as most of the Harleys are, so this bike is the least loudest among all the Harleys. I mean, they built it as a sports bike, so they should have given it a little bit more noise. Now yes, I can change the exhaust and put an aftermarket exhaust, but you know, that's no fun, as I like things to be as original as possible. Second thing about this bike is the seat of this bike. Now let me tell you, this bike is not at all as comfy as you can say. I mean, don't take me wrong, it's good for shorter rides, like for I'll say 40, 50 or an hour of a ride. But after that, your ass will feel that you need to change the seat. Again, I don't know why Harley did that. Like all the other bikes of Harley, they give very comfy seats, like a sofa seats, very soft and mushy, and you can sit on them and ride for as long as you want. But this one is different. Yet again, you can put an aftermarket seat, but again, that's no fun, as we like the things to be original. Now, oh, someone is getting pulled over. Anyways, now the third thing that I don't like about this bike is that this bike is again not a comfortable bike for highways or long rides, as the shape of this bike is very straight as a cruiser and it does not have anything in front of it, so you actually feel the pressure of the air. And this bike is a Sportster, the sports version or the sports line of Harley Davidson. I don't know how and why they call this that, because even at high speed you cannot ride it as fast as you want to for a longer length, because the wind pressure that you feel on the road because of its shape, as this bike is not at all aerodynamic, so you actually feel that wind pressure and cannot go for a longer run on a very high speed. The fourth thing that I would like to bring in your attention and Harley's attention is that this bike gets warm on both the sides. On this side, right side of mine, there is an exhaust, obviously, which gets hot, so you actually feel the heat coming out of the exhaust. And on this side, for some reason, there are some kind of like these openers where the heat from the engine comes out. I don't know what that is. Or if you are riding this bike for a certain while, you will feel the heat, the hot heat hitting this leg. So if you want to ride this bike, there is no way that you can ride it in your shorts for a longer run, or if you are not being comfortable, because either the right leg or the left leg will catch on fire. Like not fire, but you'll feel it. Now those are the only 4 complaints that I have for this bike, but don't take me wrong, I love this bike, and regardless of these 4 complaints, I'll still keep this bike in my inventory for as long as I don't know, because let me tell you about the good things of this bike, so you will know that why I really love this bike regardless of the 4 complaints that I have. Now the first good thing that you guys need to know about this bike is that this bike is unique and rare, and you won't see many of these bikes on the road. So everywhere I go, I get a lot of attention, which I enjoy a lot. The reason is that though this bike is of Harley bike, but people do not recognize it as hardcore Harley fans or the Harley people. They are not used to this kind of look, as you know, you have seen the Harley bikes. They are used to those big traditional cruisers, not a sport kind. So this is very different than any normal Harley, and that is the reason not many Harley people enjoy it or like the shape of it. But me, who's a young rider and who wanted both a cruiser type, a Harley type, and the bike that looks sporty, this is the best bike ever. That is the reason I get a lot of attention wherever I take this bike, because Harley people do not recognize it and sports bike people also do not recognize it, and they all come to me, ask me about the questions. Even when they see the name Harley Davidson, they still ask me a question that is this manufactured in US or is it a European or an Indian bike, and I'll tell them that this is born and made in USA. The second reason that I enjoy and love this bike is because of the shape of this bike. Though I complained earlier in the video that I do not like the way the seating is, but yet still I wanted a cruiser type and a sports type at the same time, so I do get my cruiser sitting position with all the power in the world in my right hand. So it gives me best of both worlds, sitting casually in 1 second, and 1 second you just rip it as fast as you want to go. See, this is what I was talking about. This bike is powerful now. Oh man, I love it. Woo! Woohoo! Woohoo! And and I'm riding it in just normal street mode, not even the sports mode. I don't want to go too fast because of the curves of these roads, and plus I'm in a jungle, anything can pop up in front of me, and yeah, that won't be good. And here we are to the spot where we wanted to come, the Nicholson Bridge of this area. Wow, just look at that humongous bridge. Now I think I need to go back to find a spot where I can stand for a second and enjoy before later on, before I show you the true power of this bike. Let me check out this bridge. Ooh-wee. Look at that. Let's take a break. Let's send the drone up and take some footage of this iconic Nicholson Bridge, and then we'll test the power of this beast. And that was Nicholson, one of the most iconic bridges of this area. And now we are back on the road. So let's continue the video as we were talking about the good things about this bike. Another thing that I like the most about this bike is the power of this bike. Once you pull that throttle, you can actually feel the power that this bike holds and is no less than any other sports bike on the road. This bike is pretty fast once you go in the sports mode. Yes, it's not meant to be for track, so obviously it does not have that much of a top speed, but yet still Harley Davidson gives you 145 miles, I think, is the top speed for this bike. Talking about the more good things about this bike, the third good thing that I love the most is the way this bike is designed, the weight of this bike, as it is really very easy to maneuver wherever and however you want to maneuver. Most of the Harley bikes are really very heavy and are hard to maneuver, but this is very light as compared to the other Harley bikes. So overall, yes, after riding this bike for more than 1,000 miles, I might have a few complaints or preferences here and there, but overall I love this bike. I enjoy every single ride, as you can see right now. Every single time I go in my garage and when my eyes lay on this bike, I'm like, I did the right decision by purchasing this bike. So that was my overall review after riding this bike for more than 1,000 miles. And now let's reconnect to our earlier saying where I told you guys that this bike, after its first 1,000 mile service, the power has increased a lot, many folds. So it's time to put that theory in test. So right now it's in road mode or highway mode, whatever you want to call it. It has 3 modes or 4 modes, I'll say. Sports mode, highway mode, rain mode, and a custom mode. I 99% of the times ride it only in this highway mode, but sometimes when I have to go a little bit crazy for just a short stretch of length, I'll put the bike in the sports mode, which I'll do right now because that's where I want to see the power. I already know that in highway mode, the bike is a little bit more powerful than as usual, or as it was before the 1000-mile service. Now let's see how this performs in the sports mode. Let's go a little bit down the road where the road is a little bit more smoother than this one. Okay, I think the smooth road have started. So this is a straight stretch. 4th gear, 50 miles. Here we go. Oh my god. Woo. Holy smokes. Check out the RPM. Initially, previously, I was afraid whenever this bike would go more than 4000 RPM, I was a little bit scared because the Harley people told me not to ride this bike before the service, like not to ride this bike above 4000 PM. But right now we can go as much RPM as we want. Woo! That was a pull, man, I gotta say. Wow. 4th gear. I feel it, I feel it. It is different. Oh, these are curvy roads, I can't go much fast. But as you can see, even in 4th gear, regardless wherever you pick the bike from, whichever speed it is, in whatever gear, whew, this bike flies. My mechanic was right. Fly to the moon. Woo. Wow, way more power than what it had. See? Oh my god, the bike just wants to go from beneath me. Wow. Woo. Woo. Wow, haven't even changed any gears, neither low nor up, but yet still the power is incredible. I don't want to get in trouble, because if any cop sees me over here, because this is a little bit busy area for the cops, they won't like me. Wow, wow, no words. I can 110% approve the theory that yes, after the first 1000-mile service, the bike does perform way faster. It's a whole different beast now. And that's a good thing, as I am much more comfortable on this bike, so I can maneuver it however I want because of its light weight, and ride it as fast as I want because of the power that Harley has given me in my hands. Whee! Let me go, let me go! Woo! Wow! Even the lean angle and everything is just on point. Woo. Oh, the adrenaline is pumping in me, my heart rate is high because I'm less afraid of falling down from this bike and more afraid of the cops seeing me riding this much at the speed limit that I won't tell you. Yeah, but if you can see on your right hand side, you will see what the speed limit actually is. Wow, oh my god, it's an entirely different beast. Loving every single bit of it now. Anyways, I hope you guys loved this 1000 review video. If you did, do give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as now when we have finally received our bike with its full potential, we'll be making a lot of bike videos and having a lot of fun with it. So do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, let's fly to the moon.
Hey, feel I'm in till I hit